Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 1. Homologous pairs of chromosomes separate during A. Cytosis, B. Cleavage, C. Mitosis, and D. Meiosis. Now, when you say homologous chromosome occurs in pairs. They occur in pairs, and we call them pairs of homologous chromosome. Like for instance, there are 23 pairs of homologous chromosome in human. It simply means we have a total of 46 genes and 46 chromosomes in human. Now, during somatic cell division, which is also called mitosis, during mitosis, which is referred to as somatic cell division, that is cell division involving somatic cells, the body cells, this homologous pair of chromosome will separate. They will separate into two because they're pairs. So these two pairs will separate into two and move to the end or to the pole of the spindle fiber. This is how it is represented. Now during mitosis, you have the spindle fiber like this. Now this is a pole, this is an equator, this is the equator. Now each of these chromosomes, when they separate, let's assume we have one chromosome here, we have another chromosome here. Now when they separate, this will move to this pole and this will probably move to this pole. Now this was the separation of homologous chromosome, and it occurs during mitosis, that is during the somatic cell division, and that is option C. Cytosis here simply means the study of cells. Cytosis is the study of cell, and meiosis is gene or sex cells division, or you can call it genetic cells division. But the answer to this question is actually option C, mitosis. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos on past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 2. An example of caryopsis is A. Guava, B. Maize, C. Coconut, and D. Tomato. Now, a caryopsis is one of the types of dry indehiscent fruits. Now, dry indehiscent fruits are those fruits which do not split open when they mature. They only fall to the ground and then probably decay. They do not split open when mature. Those are dry indehiscent fruits. Now, caryopsis is a typical example of dry indehiscent fruit, just like we have the action. The action is also an example of dry indehiscent fruits. Now, these caryopsis are different from action in the sense that the pericarp and seed coat of caryopsis are fused together. Unlike the action, the pericarp and seed coat of caryopsis are fused together to form a covering over the entire seed. And a typical example of the caryopsis include the rice grain and the maize grain, because their pericarp fuses with the seed coat. And so option B is the correct answer to this question. It is an example of caryopsis, which is a dry indehiscent fruit. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 3. The response of plants to external stimuli in a non-directional manner is known as A. Tactic movements, B. Phototropism, C. Geotropism, and D. Nastic movements. The response of plants to external stimuli in a non-directional manner. Take note of this non-directional manner. Now, a tactic movement is the response of the whole organism when you hear of taxics movement, is the response of whole organism to a directional stimulus. An example is phototaxis or chemotaxis. Let me use chemotaxis. Example of chemotaxis. Now, white blood cells in human undergo chemotaxis. Once there's a particular organism or microorganism in the body that is not supposed to be in the body, these white blood cells are attracted by the chemicals secreted by these microorganisms, and they move to the microorganisms to engulf it and kill the microorganism. That's a typical example of tactic movement. I said chemotaxics. You can see that the entire organism moved towards the directional stimulus. Now B says phototropism. Phototropism is the response of parts of plants, now not the whole plant, just parts of plants to a directional stimuli, which is light. That's why it's called phototropism. That is a tropic movement. Tactic movement involves the whole organism to a directional stimulus, but tropic movement involves parts of the organism to a directional stimulus. Same too with geotropism. Parts of the plants, most especially the roots, parts of plants to gravity. That is the movement of part of plants in response to gravity. Then now, nastic movements are responses. Nastic movements are responses shown by a part of plants to a non-directional stimulus. Now this stimulus might include light, intensity, temperature, or humidity. An example of nastic movements includes the closing of morning glory plants, morning glory flower, the closing of the leaf of morning glory flower when light intensity is low. When light intensity is low, it's an example of a nastic movement, because part of the plant responds to a non-directional stimulus, and so therefore option D is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 4. The most important hormone that induces the ripening of fruits is A. Ethylene, B. Indole acetic acid, C. Gibberellins, and D. Cytokinins. Now all these listed here are very important hormones of plants, but these hormones has its own specific function. Now ethylene here is specifically responsible for inducing the ripening of fruits. That is the main and primary function of ethylene. It induces the ripening of fruits, and it also retards growth of axillary buds. Now the indole acetic acid is another name for auxins. It's another name for auxin. Now auxin Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 5. One example of fossil fuel is A. Limestone, B. Vera, C. Coal, and D. Firewood. Now, what is a fossil fuel? Fossil fuels are natural fuels such as coal and gas. That's the natural gas. When I mean gas, I mean the natural gas like methane, ethane, butane, and propane. Now, these are natural fuels. Coal and gas are natural fuels. Now, they are formed from the remains of living organisms. And that is where the word fossil comes from. They are fuels, but they are fossil fuels because they are formed from what? The remains of living organisms in the geological parts of this organism. In the geological parts. So, fossil fuels are fuels formed from what? Formed from the remains of living organisms, and it includes coals and natural gas. And from the option given to us, we have coal here, and that's be the answer to this question. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 6. The most effective method of dealing with non-biodegradable pollutants is by A. Dumping, B. Recycling, C. Incineration, and D. Burying. Now, when you say non-biodegradable pollutants, we simply mean pollutants that cannot be acted upon by microbes. That is, they cannot decay. Those are non-biodegradable materials. They include rubber, plastics, glass, nylon, and so on. Now, looking at these non-biodegradable materials, you notice that these non-biodegradable materials can actually be converted into meaningful products, and this can only be done by recycling. Now, recycling refers to the process of collecting and processing materials that would otherwise be thrown away. That is what I'm saying. Instead of throwing these materials away or disposing them in an incinerator and burning them or burying them or dumping them, it is very effective to recycle these materials rather than throwing away as trash. But instead we recycle them and turning them into new products. So the most effective method of dealing with non-biodegradable pollutants, which is meaningful to the society and also for income generation, is by recycling these pollutants. So option B is the right answer to the question. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 7. Mycorrhizae is an association between fungi and A. protozoan, B. roots of higher plants, C. bacteria, and D. filamentous algae. Now, the word mycorrhiza is used to represent a mutual association, or what we call mutual relationship, between a fungi and the roots of a higher plant. So mycorrhiza, it just simply refers to the association between a fungi and the roots of a higher plant. Now, the fungi act as root hairs. You know, when we say something is mutual, it means that both the fungi and this higher plant or the roots of higher plants benefits from this association. That's why I call it a mutual association. Now, the fungi serve as root hairs for this plant and enables or aid in transferring inorganic nutrients from the soil to the plants. So as the fungi acts as root hairs, it aids in transferring inorganic inorganic nutrients from the soil to the plant. Now, that's the benefits of the plant from this association. Now, the plant itself, or the plant roots, supplies the fungi or the fungus with organic nutrients. Now you can see it. The fungi enables the plant to trap or to absorb inorganic nutrients, while the plant provides what? Organic nutrients for the fungus. That's why I say it's a mutual relationship, so between fungi and the roots of higher plants, which is option B. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 biology past questions. 8. A limiting factor in the plant's population near a chemical factory is likely to be A. Light, B. Humidity, C. Wind, and D. pH. Now, when you have a chemical factory, it is most likely that the effluent from this chemical factory will be mostly chemicals. Now, these chemicals can either be acids or bases. Now, if these chemicals are released to the soil, they will go to change what? The pH of the soil. And like we know, pH is defined as the degree of measurement of acidity, degree of measure of acidity or alkalinity of a substance. Now, when the pH of the soil is altered, it will affect plant population, because some plants in a particular soil might require a low pH and some plants might require a high pH or a normal pH. Now, due to the imbalance caused by the acids or bases released into the soil from the chemical factory would what affect plant population. So pH is the limiting factor in this kind of setting. That's the chemical factory, because the chemicals that are released will alter the pH of the soil and thereby affecting plant population. So the answer to this question is option D, which is pH. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 biology past question 9. Soil fertility can best be conserved and renewed by A. Earthworms, B. Man, C. Rodent, and D. Microbes. Now, soil fertility is essential to be maintained. It is essential that the soil fertility of a soil is maintained for maximum plant production. Now, soil fertility is mainly maintained by the activities of organisms living in the soil. There are some soil organisms that live and dwell in the soil. Now, the soil fertility is maintained by the activities of this organism living in it, and a typical example of this organism are earthworm. Earthworm helps to aerate the soil. They aerate the soil, thereby improving the soil fertility. And also, because the material that the organisms, that is, the materials that this earthworm remove from the soil are returned to it when they die, and their remains are broken down by decomposers, it also increases or it maintains soil fertility. Like for instance, earthworm aerate the soil, and also when they die, they are being broken down by what? By microbes, microbacteria. They are broken down, and their remains adds to the nutrients or helps to increase the soil fertility. But the activities of man, which includes mining, agriculture, depletes soil fertility. Rodents also destroys soil fertility, and also microbes. But earthworm improve soil fertility, and that's why earthworm are referred to as farmer's friend or friend of farmers, because they help to aerate the soil and also add nutrients to the soil. So the answer to this question is option A, earthworm. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Class Question 10. The pioneer organism in ecological succession are usually the A. Mosses, B. Lichens, C. Ferns, and D. Algae. Now I'll start with the term succession, ecological succession. Now succession is defined as the step-by-step, orderly, and gradual replacement. Step-by-step, orderly, and gradual replacement of communities that leads to a climax community. Now I know you'll be asking, what's a climax community? Now a climax community is a community of organisms that remains for a long period of time. That is, it does not change. This community does not change for a long period of time. We say it is a climax community. Now, succession refers to the step-by-step or orderly and gradual replacement of communities that then lead towards this climax community. It simply means that new habitats are constantly formed from existing habitats. For instance, new habitats are formed like soil environments. Now, they are actually formed from existing habitats like rocks, and that is why it's that weathering of rock brings about soil formation. But the question is asking us for the pioneer organisms in ecological succession. Now when you have a bare rock, the first organism to live on this bare rock is always the lichens. Lichens are always the first organisms to survive on a bare rock. Now they grow and establish themselves on this bare rock, and because of that they are referred to as what? The pioneer organisms. They are always the first organism to establish and grow on a bare rock. Now, their presence and other abiotic factors then leads towards the crumbling of this rock, which leads to soil formation. So it is the presence of leaching and other abiotic factors that then brings about the weathering of the rock, that then brings about soil formation. So you can see that the pioneer organism of succession are actually lichens, because they bring about the formation of a new community that includes soil formation. So the activity of leaching on this bare rock and other abiotic factors bring about soil formation. So the answer to this question is option B, lichens. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions.
Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 11. The type of reproduction that leads to variation in animals and plants population is A. Budding, B. Sexual, C. Vegetative, and D. Asexual. So we're looking for the type of reproduction, and like we know, reproduction simply means the act of giving rise to new offspring, new individual. That is reproduction. So we're looking for a type of reproduction that leads to variation in animals and plants. Now variation simply means difference. Why is it that a brother differs from his sister, a brother differs from his parents? Now A says budding. Budding is a type of asexual reproduction. Likewise, the vegetative reproduction in plants and asexual reproduction. Budding, vegetative, and asexual reproduction can be classified as one, and because they do not involve two parents, we can refer to them as, because they do not involve the transfer of genetic materials from one individual to another, we can say that this type of reproduction do not lead to variation. Asexual reproduction does not lead to variation because there is no crossing over, there is no transfer, there is no change or transfer of traits from one organism to another. But now considering the sexual reproduction introduces genetic variation. Sexual reproduction introduces genetic variation, especially during meiosis. Now you see that during meiosis there's a particular stage where we call crossing over. Now at this crossing over, you see that a particular trait will be transferred from one individual to another, from one gene to another, and this genetic variation also occurs during fertilization. Because for fertilization to occur, the sperm has to fertilize the ovum. Now the sperm is coming from a separate individual and the ovum is coming from a separate individual, which is the mother, now which you then unite together to form a new individual. This new individual will be taking the traits of the father and the mother and combining them together and will make him or her different from his parents. So when gametes from two distinct individuals fuse randomly, a genetically unique zygote is formed, and this brings about variation. That's what I said. So when the gametes from the mother, the egg, which is the ova, and the sperm from the father meets, they form an entirely new individual. We call that the zygotes. Now this occurs during fertilization, and then crossing over also that brings about genetic variation occurs during meiosis. Now these things are components of sexual reproduction and that leads to variation. So option B is the correct answer to the question. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 12. An insect with a mandibulate mouth parts will obtain its food by A. Biting and chewing, B. Chewing and sucking, C. Chewing, and D. Sucking. An insect with a mandibulate part simply refers to insect with mandible. In other words, you can call this mandible the lower jaw. The lower jaw. Now, insects with mandible, for instance, e.g., a grasshopper, they obtain their food by biting and chewing. This mandibulate part of the mouth, which is the lower jaw, enables this insect to bite its food and also enables the insect to chew the food. And a typical example is the grasshopper. Those that suck their nutrients from the food are called filter feeders. Now these insects do not possess a mandibular mouth part. Example are the mosquito. They have what we call the proboscis. It is the proboscis that enable them to suck this fluid from the host where they get their food from. But for those with mandibular mouth parts like the grasshopper, they bite and chew their food because of the presence of this lower jaw. So option A is the correct answer to the question. Biting and chewing, not chewing and sucking, and not chewing alone and not sucking. So those that suck uses proboscis to suck, and we call them fluid feeders or filter feeders. So option A is the correct answer to the question. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 13. Spines and shells on animals are adaptation of A. Camouflage, B. Chemical defense, C. Physical defense, and D. Mimicry. Now, most organisms has adapted or possess some adaptive features that enable them to survive in a particular environment. We call this adaptation. Now, this adaptation depends on the environment at which or in which they find themselves. Now, for animals that possesses spine and shells, this spine and shell helps to give physical protection to these animals. It provides the animals with physical protection. A typical example is the snail. Snail possesses shell that helps to keep the body of the shell of the snail intact against harm and against pressure. Another example of animal with spine is the hedgehog. Now, hedgehog possesses spine for physical defense. It enables hedgehog to escape its prey, its predators. That is, animals that feed on hedgehog. Once they see this hedgehog and it displays its spine, they run away from it because the spine is actually dangerous to the animal. So it enables hedgehog to escape its predators. Some animals also display chemical defense. that is, they release harmful chemicals that also chase away their predators. And others exhibit camouflage, that is, they change their color to the shape of to the color of the environment. And a typical example is the chameleon. Then some undergo mimicry. They pretend as if they are dead, and by doing that, the predator leaves them thinking they are dead. And a typical example is the millipede. But for animals that possess spine and shells, they undergo adaptation of physical defense, that is, they protect themselves from physical harm or damage. So the answer to this question is actually option C, physical defense. And I give a typical example as a snail and the hedgehog. The snail is the shell and the hedgehog is the spine. So option C is the right answer to the question. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 14. The rods in the retina of the eye are examples of A. Cells, B. Tissues, C. Organs, D. System. Now, let's start by defining each of these concepts. Cell. Now, cell simply refers to the basic units of life, that is, the structural and functional units. The structural and functional units of life. Now, tissue are made up of cells. Tissues are made up of cells which comes together to perform a specific function. Example is the muscle tissue, e.g., the muscle tissue is a typical example. Then organs are a group of tissues. Organs are a group of tissues that perform a specific task. Then system is a combination of different organs, group of different organs that also perform what? A specific function. Example of the system includes the respiratory system. Now, the question says the rod in the retina of the eye are examples of. Now, in the eyes, we have what we call the photoreceptors. Now, photoreceptors are cells that are receptive to what? To light. Photoreceptors are the one responsible for the conduction of light rays and then convert them into impulse that the brain interpret them, and then we are able to see. Now, these photoreceptors in the eye include the rods and the cones. The rods and cones are photoreceptors, and photoreceptors are cells. They occur at cellular level. Now, the rods enable us to view what? For dark, enables black and white vision. The rods enables black and white vision, while the cones are responsible for what? For color vision. But the rods and cones are cells. So the rods in the retina of the eye responsible for black and white vision is actually a cell. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 15. A plant-like feature in Euglena is the A. pellicle, B. pigment spots, C. large spots, and D. gullet. Now, an Euglena is a plant-like, and also an animal-like protist. That is, Euglena belongs to both the class Protophyta and also the class Protozoa, because they possess both what? Plant-like and animal-like features, and they are protists. Now, the plant-like feature in Euglena is the presence of the chloroplast, and this chloroplast enables Euglena to manufacture its own food. Now, this chloroplast is also known as the pigment spots that contains the chlorophyll. The pigment spots. The animal feature now in Euglena is the presence of the pellicle. The presence of the pellicle. Now this pellicle is also known as what? The gullet. But the question here is asking us for the plant-like feature in Euglena, and that is the chloroplast, which is also known as the pigment spots. So option B is the right answer to this question. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 16. The larva stage of mosquito is called A. Wriggler, B. Grub, C. Maggots, and D. Caterpillar. Now, like we know, mosquito are vectors. That is, they are disease-carrying organisms. They are vectors, and they undergo what you call complete metamorphosis. They undergo complete metamorphosis, unlike cockroach that undergo incomplete metamorphosis. But in case of mosquito, they undergo complete metamorphosis, and this begins from the what? From the egg stage to the larva, from the larva to the pupa, and from the pupa to the imago. Now, the larva stage of mosquito is called the wriggler. Now, they are called wriggler because what? They wriggle in a stagnant water body. So, the larva stage of mosquitoes is referred to as the wriggler. Then the imago is what we call the adult mosquito. So the larva stage of mosquito is called the wriggler, and that is option A. Now option C, which is maggot, is the larva stage for housefly, and caterpillar is the larva stage for butterfly, and they both undergo what? Complete metamorphosis like mosquito. So the answer to this question is option A, wriggler. That's the larva stage of mosquito. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 17. A peculiar characteristics of mammals is that A. They have lungs, B. have teeth, C. are warm-blooded, and D. have sebaceous gland. Now, mammals, we refer to mammals as organisms that give birth to their young ones alive. And like you know, mammals are warm-blooded. First of all, mammals are warm-blooded, but that doesn't mean that this warm-bloodedness is specific to mammals. Because take for instance, aves, as the birds, are also warm-blooded. They are warm-blooded. Now also, mammals has what? Mammals have lungs, but that doesn't mean that this lungs is peculiar to mammals alone, because like the aves and reptiles, they also have what? They have lungs. Also, mammals have teeth. They have teeth, and this is not specific to mammals alone. Also, reptiles like lizard also has teeth. Now, mammals have sebaceous gland. They have both. Mammals have sweat gland and sebaceous gland. Now, the sweat gland produces what we call the sweat, and the sebaceous gland produces an oily substance, what we call sebum, that helps lubricate the skin. Now, this sweat gland and sebaceous gland is peculiar to mammals alone. It is peculiar, it's a specific what? Characteristics of mammals. Presence of sweat gland and sebaceous gland. So, option D is the right answer to this question. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 18. The gallbladder of a mammal has a duct connected to the A. liver, B. duodenum, C. small intestine, and D. pancreas. So it says the gallbladder of a mammal has a duct connected to the dash. Now, the gallbladder is where bile is being stored. The gallbladder is where bile is being stored. Now, when bile comes from the gallbladder, I say the gallbladder stores bile. Now these bile stored in the gallbladder are not produced in the gallbladder, they are produced in the what? In the liver. So the liver produces the bile, but this bile are stored in what? In the gallbladder. Now from the gallbladder we have a duct known as the common bile duct. Now this common bile duct will unite with the what? With a duct from the pancreas. We have the pancreas. Now the pancreas has its own duct also. We call it pancreatic duct, or what we call the duct of Wesson, but I will call it for our level the pancreatic duct. Now this pancreatic duct will unite with the duct of the what? Of the gallbladder and enter into and form what we call the ampulla of Vater. They form the ampulla of Vater. Now this ampulla of Vater will then enter into the duodenum. But now the question is asking us that the duct of the gallbladder is connected to the dash, and that is the pancreas, because it is connected to the what? To the pancreatic duct. So the duct of the gallbladder, which is the common bile duct, is connected to the what? Pancreas via the pancreatic duct, in order to form what we call the ampulla of Vater that enters into the duodenum. So the answer to this question is option D, pancreas. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 19. Rodents gnaw their food with their A. Molar teeth, B. Strong jaws, C. Rigid teeth, and D. Chisel-like front teeth. Now, when you say gnaw food, to gnaw just simply means to bite. To bite. To bite food, or gnaw. You either use gnaw or you use bite. Now, rodents gnaw the food, that is, they bite their food with the use of their chisel-like front teeth. If you look at most rodents, for instance the rats or the grass cutter or the squirrel, if you look at their front tooth, you will see that their front tooth is chisel-like. This enables them to what? To be able to gnaw into their food, like tubers, mostly tubers like cassava and yam. It enables these rodents to be able to what? To gnaw this food, that is, to be able to bite this food efficiently. This is because of the presence of their chisel-like front teeth. So this is the answer to the question. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 20. An example of a radially symmetrical organism is A. Planarian, B. Hydra, C. Tapeworm, and D. Roundworm. Now, in terms of body symmetry, we have what we call bilaterally symmetrical. Then we have what we call radially symmetrical. Now, some organisms are bilaterally symmetrical, that is, they can be divided into two equal halves from two planes. That's why it's called bilateral. While some organisms can be divided into two equal halves from any plane, we call them radially symmetrical. Now, tapeworm, roundworm, and planarian are bilaterally symmetrical because they can be divided into two equal halves from only two planes. But Hydra here, which is option B, Hydra is radially symmetrical. This is because according to its body symmetry, it can be divided into two equal halves from any plane. So the answer to this question is option B, Hydra. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 21. Which of the following structure is capable of producing more tissues in the stem of a herbaceous flowering plant? A. Epidermis, B. Pericycle, C. Xylem, and D. Cambium. So, which of the following structure is capable? Now, in the stem of a herbaceous plant, we have the epidermis. Now the epidermis is the outer layer of the stem that covers it. It's formed like a cuticle that covers the stem. It protects the stem. Then we have what we call the pericycle. Also we have the xylem. The xylem, the cambium, and the phloem make up what we call the vascular bundle. Now the cambium is located between the xylem and the phloem. Between the xylem and the phloem you have what you call the cambium, and cambium are actively dividing cells. That is, cambium are cells that would undergo cell division. They are actively dividing cells, and they are responsible for the what? They are responsible for the secondary growth of plants. They are responsible for the secondary growth of the stem. So it simply means that the cambium is the structure that is capable of producing more tissue because they are actively dividing cells. That is, they give rise to new cells. So the answer to this question is option D, cambium. Thank you, and ensure subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 22. The manufacture of carbohydrates by plants takes place only in A. Leaves, B. the green stems, C. chlorophyllous parts, and D. flower parts. Now, the process by which food is manufactured in plants is known as photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Now, photosynthesis involves the manufacturing of food of plants using sunlight, chlorophyll, and water. So it simply means in the presence of water, sunlight, and chlorophyll, plants manufacture the food. Now, photosynthesis occurs in the part of plants that contains this chlorophyll. Any part of plants that contains chlorophyll which is stored in the chloroplast will definitely undergo photosynthesis, be it the stem, be it the branch, or the leaves of the plant. And so we can't just pick leaf as the part of plants where photosynthesis occur that brings about the manufacturing of carbohydrate, which is food and plants food. We can't also take the green stems, because if you take the green stems you are leaving out the leaves. If you take leaves, you are leaving out the green stems that also undergo photosynthesis. Now flower parts do not undergo photosynthesis, but now taking chlorophyllous parts has already embraced the green stems and the leaves. And so therefore the most suitable answer to this question is actually chlorophyllous parts of plant. That is the part that contains chlorophyll, because in the absence of chlorophyll, photosynthesis will never occur, and photosynthesis is the process by which carbohydrate is manufactured by plants. So chlorophyllous parts undergo photosynthesis, and that makes it the answer to this question, option C. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 23. In a water culture experiment, a plant showed a poor growth and yellowing of leaves. This may be due to the deficiency of A. Copper, B. Iron, C. Magnesium, and D. Calcium. Now, in a water culture experiment, when a plant shows a poor growth and a yellowing of leaves, the elements, which are the major elements that are possibly absent or deficient, includes 1. Magnesium. Now magnesium is a major element of plants. Magnesium is required for the formation of chlorophyll. If magnesium is deficient, the formation of chlorophyll will be altered, and it will affect food production, which will affect poor growth and also cause yellowing of leaves. So magnesium is correct. Also, iron is another element that is required for the manufacturing of chlorophyll. Now, when there's deficiency in iron, poor growth will be present, because the plant will not be able to produce food. because they require chlorophyll to produce food, and also there'll be yellowing of leaves instead of it to be green. So iron is also what correct. Now copper is required for the absorption of iron by the plants, and copper also what enables enhanced growth. Now calcium on the other hand also enhance what growth of plants. It enhances growth of plants, but the deficiency of copper and calcium do not result in yellowing of leaves, although deficiency of copper and calcium initiates poor growth. But now yellowing of leaves is not seen in the deficiency of copper and calcium, but in the deficiency of iron and magnesium, poor growth is seen and yellowing of leaves is seen. So therefore these two answers are actually correct. Option B and option C, they are actually the two correct answers. Thank you, and ensure subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 24. In millions test, when the reagent is added to a protein food item, a white precipitate is produced which turns A. blue on heating, B. yellow on heating, C. green on heating, and D. red on heating. Now, in millions test, when the million reagents is added to the protein food, be it egg, be it beans, or any solution, let it be a colloidal solution of that protein food. Now once it is added, it will first of all give a white precipitate. Now millions test is actually used to test for protein. Millions test is a test for protein. Now once you put it in a colloidal solution of protein food, let me state it, colloidal solution, like the egg or your albumin already, or your beans, now a white precipitate is formed. When heat is now applied, when heated, so plus heat, a red precipitate will be formed. A red precipitate will be formed, and that is option D. This confirms that there's presence of protein in that food. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 25. Regulation of blood sugar level takes place in the A. pancreas, B. ileum, C. liver, and D. kidney. Now, blood sugar level must be regulated because when you have high blood sugar, it is a problem, and we usually refer to such situation as a diabetes or a diabetic situation. And also low sugar level is not also good. So for us to maintain homeostasis, that is to maintain the internal or the constant internal environment, the body devises a means to maintain the blood sugar level through the activities of two hormones, and that is glucagon and insulin. Now glucagon and insulin hormone helps to maintain or to regulate the blood sugar level, and these two hormones are secreted by the endocrine pancreas. They are secreted by the endocrine pancreas. So the pancreas is responsible for the secretion of these hormones, which helps to regulate blood sugar level. Now when the blood sugar level is high, insulin helps to regulate back to normal by decreasing. Insulin increases the absorption of sugar level by adipose tissue, so it enables the conversion of glucose to glycogen. But when the blood sugar level is low, glucagon reacts, which regulates the conversion of glycogen back to glucose. So insulin acts when there's high blood sugar, and glucagon acts when there's low blood sugar, but these two hormones are secreted by the pancreas. So therefore the regulation of blood sugar level takes place in the pancreas. Pancreas is responsible for the regulation of blood sugar level. So option A is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 26. Unicellular organisms transport essential nutrients directly to all parts of their bodies by the process of diffusion because they have A. A large volume to surface area ratio, B. A large surface area to volume ratio, C. Their body is immersed in the nutrients, and D. Their outer membrane is made of cellulose. Now, unicellular organisms are organisms that exist as a single cell. They exist as a single cell. Organism that exists as a single cell. An example of such organism includes amoeba, paramecium, Euglena, and the rest. Now, these organisms exist as what? At cellular level. They exist as a single organism, single cell. That's why we call them unicellular organisms. Now, these organisms transport essential nutrients from the environment via diffusion. And like you know, diffusion simply refers to the movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. It is evenly distributed, so they gain nutrients. Now, because their own concentration is lower compared to that of the surrounding, they absorb these nutrients using diffusion, and this is made possible because of their large surface area to volume ratio. Now, like we know, for faster diffusion, increase surface area leads towards increased diffusion. So because they have a large surface area to volume ratio, diffusion is enough for them to transport their essential nutrients. And I say organisms like amoeba, paramecium, and Euglena uses this process. So due to large surface area to volume ratio, and that is option B. Not a large volume to surface area ratio, a large surface area to volume ratio. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 27. The heart of adult frog consists of A. 2 auricles and 2 ventricles, B. 1 auricle and 1 ventricle, C. 2 ventricle and 1 auricle, D. 1 ventricle and 2 auricle. Now let's begin with evolution. Now if you look at the kingdom Animalia under the phylum Chordata, where you see the pisces, we have the pisces which represent the fish, then we have the amphibians, we have the reptiles. No, before the reptiles we have the aves and reptiles, and then the mammals. Now looking at this, you will discover that this is in order of increasing complexity. That is, mammals are more complex than reptiles are more complex than aves are more complex than amphibians, and amphibians are more complex than pisces. And so also it does with with the structure of the organ of each of these organisms. Now frog belongs to the class amphibian. We have frog, we have toad in this class. Now amphibians possess what we call a 3-chamber heart. Amphibians possess a 3-chamber heart. The heart is in this form. You have the 2 auricles like this. You have the 2 auricle and then a single ventricle. This is the right auricle, the left auricle, and a single ventricle. Now this is the shape, or this is exactly how the heart of an amphibian is. So they have 2 auricles and 1 ventricle, which is option D. 1 ventricle and 2 auricles. But in the case of pisces just has a 2-chamber heart, 1 ventricle, 1 auricle, and 1 ventricle. But amphibians has 3. Then the reptiles has 4, and the mammals has 4. That is 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. So the answer to this question is option D. For frogs, which are amphibians, they have 1 ventricle and 2 auricle, and this is the illustration I give. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 28. In adult mammalian blood, the cell which lack nuclei are the A. Erythrocytes, B. Lymphocytes, C. Leukocytes, and D. Phagocytes. In adult mammalian blood. Now, the cells in the mammalian blood include: 1. The erythrocytes. These erythrocytes are known as the red blood cells, RBC, red blood cell. We have the leukocytes. The leukocytes are referred to as the white blood cell. Then we have the thrombocytes. Now the thrombocytes are referred to as the platelets in the mammalian blood. Now the leukocytes and the thrombocytes has nucleus, but the red blood cell, which is the erythrocytes, do not have a nucleus. Red blood cells do not have nucleus, and so red blood cell is the answer to this question. Now option B here says lymphocyte. Lymphocyte is a type of leukocyte, so it is also a white blood cell, and therefore it has a nucleus. Phagocyte is also a type of leukocyte, that is a type of white blood cell, and also has a nucleus. Then leukocyte is the general name for all white blood cell, but lymphocyte and phagocyte are examples of leukocyte, white blood cell. They have nucleus. Likewise, the thrombocyte, which is a platelet, it has nucleus. But the erythrocyte, which is the red blood cell that is responsible for the transport of respiratory gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide, do not have nucleus. So the answer to this question is option A, erythrocytes. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions.
Hello, good day, and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 29. Which of the following movements occur during exhalation? A. The diaphragm and intercostal muscle relax. B. The thoracic cavity increases in volume. C. The diaphragm and intercostal muscles contracts. D. The diaphragm contracts and intercostal muscle relax. Now, exhalation is the second stage of breathing. Breathing, also known as external respiration, comprises of inhalation. We have inhalation and expiration. Exhalation or expiration. Expiration or exhalation. Now, during inhalation, or when inhalation occurs, the body acts in such a way as to take in air into the lungs, and by doing that, the body will tend to increase the space of the thoracic cavity to take in more air. Now, during inhalation, the diaphragm and intercostal muscles, that is the muscles at the rib region, will contract. So as it contracts, it will expand the thoracic cavity, thereby increasing the volume of the thoracic cavity. But during exhalation, these muscles that contract during inhalation will then relax. That is, the diaphragm and the intercostal muscle will relax, so that there will be decrease in the volume of the thoracic cavity, and so that the air can be given out to the surrounding or to the environment. So during exhalation, these muscles that contract during inhalation, which are the diaphragm and the intercostal muscle, relaxes. They relax. So as they relax, the thoracic cavity returns to its original shape, and as a result of that, air is forced out of the lungs into the surrounding. So during exhalation, the diaphragm and intercostal muscles relaxes, but during inhalation they contract and thoracic cavity increases in volume. But during exhalation, thoracic cavity decreases in volume due to the action of the diaphragm and intercostal muscles as they relax. So the answer to the question is option A, the diaphragm and intercostal muscle relax. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day, and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 30. In which of the following group of animals is the Malpighian tubule found? Malpighian tubule found. Now, the Malpighian tubule is an excretory organ. It's an excretory organ, that is an organ responsible for the removal of waste in a particular organism. Now, Malpighian tubule is found in insects. Insects like the cockroach, housefly, and the rest. So it enables these insects to remove their waste from the body to the surrounding. So Malpighian tubule is the excretory organ of insects. And from the questions now, from the options, you see that option B here has the group of insects: crickets, houseflies, and grasshopper. So all these groups has Malpighian tubule as their excretory organ because they belong to the class Insecta. Now, lizard, snakes, and frogs has kidney as their own excretory organ. Earthworm has nephridia. Flatworm has what we call flame cell, while earthworm has what we call nephridia as its excretory organ. So the answer to this question is option B. The group of insects are those that uses Malpighian tubule as their excretory organ. Thank you, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day, and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 31. The nucleus is considered the control center of the cell because it A. contains the genetic material, B. contains the nucleus sap, C. is bounded by the nuclear membrane, and D. is located at the center of the nucleus. The nucleus is a cell organelle and is responsible or is described as the control center of the cell. The control center of the cell, and this is because it contains genetic materials. It contains genetic material, that is the genes, the DNA, and the RNA. These are located in the nucleus, and they're responsible. These genetic material are responsible. That is, they control the type and quantity of proteins produced. Now, this nucleus contains the genetic material, the DNA and the RNA, that controls the type and quantity of proteins produced. And like you know, most of the enzymes, the hormones, even the body tissues are proteins. So it simply means that every activity of the cell is controlled by this nucleus, because the nucleus contains the genetic material that determine what the cell will be, or the activities of the cell. So the answer to the question is option A, contains genetic material. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day, and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 32. A prokaryotic cell type is characterized by A complex cytoplasm in which different regions are poorly defined, B. localization of different regions of the cell into tissues, C. collection of organelles and molecular complexes, and D. simple cytoplasm with well-defined regions. Organisms that has this prokaryotic cell are referred to as prokaryotes. We refer to them as prokaryotes. Now, prokaryotes or prokaryotic cells are primitive cells. They are primitive cells. Now, a specific characteristics of prokaryotic cell is that they have no membrane bound organelles. They have no membrane bound organelles. Even the nucleus of this prokaryotic cell are free. The nucleus lies freely in the cytoplasm. Now, due to the lack of membrane-bound organelles, the cytoplasm of prokaryotic cell is very, very complex, because these organelles are left freely in the cytoplasm. the different regions are poorly defined, they are not well defined. That is, the position occupied by each of the organelles are not well defined. The organelles are left to move freely in the cytoplasm, making the cytoplasm complex. So prokaryotes are characterized by complex cytoplasm in which different regions occupied by the various cell organelles are poorly defined. Unlike the eukaryotic cells, in the eukaryotic cells have well membrane-bound organelles in such a way that each organelle has its own specific position, and thereby making their cytoplasm simple with well-defined region. But in terms of the prokaryotic cell, they have no membrane-bound organelles, making the cytoplasm a complex cytoplasm. So option A is the right answer to the question. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 33. The natural tendency of organisms as they evolve is to A. Decrease in size, B. Increase in number, C. Develop specialized structures, and D. Feed indiscriminately. Now, during evolution, it is expected that each organism that is undergoing evolution, or each organism that is trying to evolve, develop specific, or we can call it specialized structures that can enable them, or will enable them, survive in their respective habitats. Now, the purpose of evolution is to enhance survival. Evolution occurs so that you can actually enhance your survival. Organisms that are unable to survive in a particular environment will undergo evolution. In this terms of this evolution, they develop specialized structures that will enable them live or survive in that particular habitat. So the answer to this question is actually option A. Option A is very wrong, because organisms that evolve do not decrease in size, so it is wrong. Also, they do not increase in number. That is not the natural tendency of organisms, and it's not to feed indiscriminately. But the correct answer is to develop specialized structure that will enable them to live or to survive, to adapt in their particular environment or their particular habitats. So option A is wrong, option B is wrong, and option D is wrong. Option C is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and you should subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 34. In snails, the hard calcareous shells are secreted by the A. radula, B. Tenidium, C. pneumostone, and D. mantle. Now, like we know, snails are known as, they fall under the class mollusk. That is class mollusca. Mollusks, they are mollusk. Mollusks include snail. We also have the bivalves. These are mollusks. Now, many mollusks such as snail and bivalves have outer calcareous shells. Now, the essence of these calcareous cells is just for protection, to protect the delicate parts of this organism, to protect the delicate parts of the snail, or to protect the delicate parts of all mollusks. Now, they possess these calcareous shells. Now, these calcareous shells are secreted by soft tissue. They are secreted by soft tissue found in the outer part of the snail body, known as the mantle. Mantle are soft tissues that covers the snail body. Now, it is this mantle that secretes these calcareous shells that provides protection to the remaining delicate parts of the mollusk. So option D is the correct answer to this question, which is the mantle. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions.
Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 35. The ability of cockroach to live in cracks and crevices is enhanced by the position of wings and segmented body, B. compound eye, C. claws and legs, and D. dorso-ventrally flattened body. Like we know, cockroach is an insect and also a disease vector. Now, cockroach possesses wings and segmented body that enable them to fly or to move for movement. They possess compound eyes also that provides them with wide range of view. They have claws and legs also for movement. Now, cockroach possesses dorso-ventrally flattened body, that is, their body are flattened anteriorly and posteriorly. That is, their posterior surface is flattened and their anterior surface is also flattened, and that is why they are able to live in cracks and crevices on the walls or any hole at all, because of this dorso-ventrally flattened body. Cockroach are also nocturnal, that is, most of their activities are carried out in the night, so we refer to them as nocturnal insects. Nocturnal insects. So they are able to live in cracks and crevices as a result of the presence of dorsally ventral flattened body. So the answer to this question is option D. Option D is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 37. The structure that prevents food particles from escaping the fish gill are called the gill dash. A. arch, B. filaments, C. rakers, and D. lamella. The fish is able to breathe in water or to undergo respiration in water due to the presence of the fish gill. Now, this fish gill is made up of bony arch. Fish gill is made up of bony arch, which include the gill filaments. This bony arch includes the gill filaments and the gill rakers. Now, the gill filament is the site of the gill that is responsible for gaseous exchange. This is where exchange of respiratory gases takes place, in the gill filaments of the gill. Then the gill rakers is the part of the gill that acts as a food strainer. It acts as a food strainer. That is, it prevents the movement of food in or out of the gill. Prevents the movement of food in or out of the gill. So gill rakers is responsible for the function of preventing food particles from escaping from the fish gill. So the answer to this question is option C, gill rakers. The filament is responsible for gaseous exchange, while the arch is the gill itself, bearing the filaments and the rakers. So option C, which is the gill rakers, is the correct answer to the question. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 38. A distinguishing feature of mammals is the possession of a skin, B. scale, C. nail, and D. hair. Mammals. Mammals are a group of organisms that give rise to the young ones. They give rise to young ones alive. Now, mammals possesses the following characteristics. They are warm-blooded. Mammals have skin, which has, their skin has hair, sweat gland, and sebaceous gland. Now, unlike other animals, mammals' skin has hair, sweat gland, and sebaceous gland. These three components are mostly not found in non-mammals. For example, the lizard, which is a non-mammal, do not possess sweat gland, nor sebaceous gland, nor hair. But if you look at dog, on the other hand, dog possesses hair because dog is a mammal. Humans possesses sweat gland and sebaceous gland because we are mammals. So these three organs are actually specific to mammals alone. We have other animals that are warm-blooded, like the lizard is a warm-blooded animal. So also mammals are warm-blooded. The lizard has nails, so also mammals has nails. Non-mammals too has nails. Scale also. Most mammals do not have scale, while some have. But scale are mostly for non-mammals, like the fish, the lizard. They possess scale. But the hair is more specific or a distinguishing feature for mammals. Hair, the sweat gland, and the sebaceous gland. But the only option present here is the hair. So we pick hair as the correct answer to the question, since it is the most correct option. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Biology Past Question 40. In amoeba, the ectoplasm is bounded by a thin membrane known as A. the plasmosole, B. the plasma gel, C. the plasma lemma, and D. the protoplasm. Now, amoeba is a unicellular organism, that is an organism that occurs at cellular level. So it simply means that its level of organization stops at the cellular level. Now, since amoeba is a cellular level, its cytoplasm is divided into two. It's divided into the endoplasm and the ectoplasm. Now, the ectoplasm is the outer part of the cytoplasm, while the endoplasm is the inner part of the cytoplasm. Now, this ectoplasm is bounded by what we know as the cell membrane. It is bounded by the cell membrane, and another name for the cell membrane is known as the plasma lemma. The plasma lemma is another name for the cell membrane. So it simply means that the ectoplasm, which is the outer part of the cytoplasm of an amoeba, is bounded by the cell membrane, which is also known as the plasma lemma, and that is option C. So plasma lemma is the thin membrane that's bound the ectoplasm. So option C is the correct answer to this question. Protoplasm is a living component of the cell that comprises of the cell organelles, but what we are looking for here is the membrane of this cell, and that's the plasma lemma. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and